welcome everybody to another Bar Talk virtual chat. I'm Dave Summers, Executive Director of the Omaha Bar Association, and today I have the distinct pleasure of talking with Mark Jacobs of Anderson, Bressman, Hoffman, and Jacobs law firm here in town. Mark has been a steadfast member and leader of the lawyer referral service ever since I've been in my seat here at the Omaha Bar Association. And we want to sit down today and talk with him about how he's doing, how the law practice is going in the new normal, and chat a bit about the lawyer referral service at the Omaha Bar Association, somewhat for the public, but mostly for attorneys that are interested in perhaps joining if they're not a member already. Mark, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hey Dave, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I have to say, this is kind of turning into normal, which seems strange to me because talking with people through a camera, I'm staring at the camera, so it looks like I'm staring at you, but I'm actually just staring at the camera. That's just a little impersonal, right?
Right.
So Mark, give us your history. You've been a lawyer for longer than I've known you, so you've been around for a while. But give us a history through law school, lawyering, where you've been at, what sort of practice you do.
Well, let's see. I'm coming up on my 15-year anniversary of graduating from Creighton Law. So spent a year in Chicago practicing before coming back to Omaha. Bounced around at a few different firms, but for the last nearly 6 years, been here with Anderson Bressman, and mainly I do family law. So day in, day out, I'm doing divorce, child custody, post-decree relief, those types of matters with, a sprinkling of other things like juvenile court, but pretty much 80% is divorce and child custody.
Now, so you share the same, oh, I'm getting some feedback there, sorry. Now you share the same distinction as Hannah does. So you have the Illinois bar and a Nebraska license then.
I do. Well, I was part of the Illinois bar for a long time, but then I got tired of paying the bar dues every year and not having any Illinois cases. So I went inactive probably about 5 or 6 years ago. But that's where I took the bar and then waved into Nebraska back in 2006.
Very good. Yeah. Hannah's also not any longer active in the Illinois bar, so she had the same boat there. So Mark, you've been a part of the lawyer referral service for a long time with the Omaha Bar Association. Back when I was in solo practice, I too was with the lawyer referral service. So I'm not only a staff member of the organization that has a service, but also been a member in the past. Can you walk us through, and you're also the chair of the lawyer referral service committee for the Omaha Bar Association. So I think you're actually a returning chair. You've been chair in the past, and we brought you back into that role after a few years of having other people in that role. Can you for the attorneys out there, can you run them through just quickly the overview of what the lawyer referral service has been for, what's the process of getting in, what it looks like?
Sure. So the lawyer referral service is just that. It's a public service offered through the Omaha Bar Association. We have a roster somewhere usually around of 150 attorneys covering every area of law. And you'll probably see the plaques through different courthouses that we serve. And mainly, Douglas, Washington, Sarpy, I think we're in Cass too. And what we do is, people in need of a lawyer, or at least need to have some, legal advice, can call in, and Donna Burkby, who has been running executive director of the program for many, many years, will match them up with an attorney for a consultation. And what that attorney signs on for is they will agree to take these clients just for the consultation at a reduced fee of $40 for half an hour. So, which is a lot better than the going rate out there for many areas of the law for consultation. So that's, giving back to the public a very reasonable fee for a consultation, and with an attorney who, they know, and we make sure we vet all of our attorneys that they're in good standing with the bar, that they have all the proper malpractice insurance. We even now have experience panels where for certain areas of law, you have to show to the lawyer referral service that you've done a certain number of cases from start to finish. Getting signed up is really easy. We have an application. We do our enrollment every year, late winter, early spring. And if you're a member of the OBA, and it's your first time, it's $100. Renewals are $200. And you simply send in your information, send in your, that you have the proper malpractice insurance, and then you check off the areas of law that you want referrals for. And that's, then you're off and running. And then usually, depending on what area, you'll be getting calls from Donna asking for you to run, conflicts. She sets up the appointment with the potential client. In these times, most of those are over the phone, but she makes all the arrangements, sets the dates, times, make sure it works for your calendar. And again, the only thing you're signing on for is to do that reduced fee consultation, and then it's up to you and the client, if there's going to be a continued legal relationship, to work out what that looks like in terms of retainer and legal fees. And so it's certainly not, as some people think, a pro se service. You simply are signing up for that reduced fee consultation, and then whatever you want or normally charge for retainer and fees, you go ahead and charge that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the biggest myth out there, right, Mark, is that the service is one that you're doing a reduced fee or free representation throughout, and it's not that at all. It's that the $40 initial consultation is set at that rate. Some attorneys
Right.
waive that, right? I waived it a few times when people came through the consultation fee, which it can be waived. It doesn't have to be, though. There are people that
Sure.
charge their full rate for consultations. In your area of practice, there are people that will conflict out you as an attorney, and your time's certainly worth something. And so the attorneys are certainly allowed to collect that $40 and then say, we've been here for half an hour. I've given you the information. You do have a case. You need to go forward. I'm happy to work on this case if you choose to hire me. Here's my rate. Here's my retainer. Here's how we go forward in this way. And then at that point, they either choose to hire you or they choose to take that information and go elsewhere or do it themselves or what have you. But it's not free or reduced fee legal services past that consultation necessarily.
Right. And I mean, piggybacking on that, people may think, or attorneys may think, okay, well, it's not pro se, but the individuals, if they're going through the lawyer referral service, certainly wouldn't be able to pay me what my standard rate is. And I've been doing LRS for many years, and sometimes that happens, but it's certainly not the case. It's just, people, the public don't know an attorney, maybe are too embarrassed to ask a friend for, a referral on an attorney, and they're just looking to go somewhere, and it's under the Omaha Bar umbrella, so that, with a great reputation, they want to make sure that they're getting somebody, quality and they're just not flipping through the phone book. So that's, that's all part of the public service of it. And, vast majority, I say in the family law area, are able to pay those, full retainer fees and legal fees for a case.
Yeah, and it's sort of this this split here, because there are people that come in and they just need legal advice. They don't have a case, or they may not be able to do past the $40 consultation fee, and they need to go find help through, doing it pro se or on their own. So there are those people, and when you're talking about the public service, you are, for a reduced fee, you're telling those people you don't have a case, or you do have a case and here's what you need to look at when you're doing this case, and sending them on their way. And that's great, and that's a huge public service, and there are people out there that think they have a case that don't have a case, and we certainly have consulted with many people who think they have a case and they don't. But at the end of the day, if you can also use this to build your business going forward, it's been very successful for the people that are in the program year after year, who some of them are specialists, some of them are generalists. For the most part, I found everybody to have a successful time through it, where on the backside, we're looking at the numbers. It makes sense to be a part of the program for what you get out of it monetarily, and then the ability to help some people find out that they don't have a case going forward, and they can move on with their lives, and not kind of sit there every single night and say, well, I had that $1 million case for that accident, and turns out that there wasn't a claim there, and they can have that peace of mind. So yeah, it's both. It helps the attorney. It's a win-win, right? The attorney can have private retained cases and can also help the public get more information.
Right. I mean, just from a, running a firm standpoint, it's become a no-brainer. I mean, we have every attorney in our office signed up for lawyer referral, because the $200 fee compared to the number of cases and fees we bring in, it's nominal. It's just a drop in the bucket. And it, even with just referrals for the consultation, it would pay for itself. And like you said, and I've always thought, even if I give a good consultation, I give the advice, and the person doesn't have a case, at least that's one more person that knows my name, and maybe they, run into somebody, a friend or family member, and they're like, well, who'd you talk to about it? And then, the name gets passed on, they got my business card in their pocket, and, yeah, it's just another kind of form of advertising.
Absolutely. Now, I maybe got ahead of myself here a little bit. How's everything going at the practice? How's the firm doing? How are you finding that people still have legal issues that need help, right?
Right. Again, family law, we've gotten pushed off a little bit, and I expect some log jams coming when they really reopen the courts, and, the criminal cases that have been pushed off take, priority over the family law matters. We've been in the office mostly. We're, small office, and everybody's in their own, separate offices. So we've been keeping our distance. We've put the, obligatory signs on the door, don't come in unless, you have an appointment. And we've really tried to limit people coming to the office unless absolutely necessary. So, I mean, it's like with everybody, it's just a lot of uncertainty as, okay, what's happening this week? When is the next order extending the courthouse restrictions coming out? How does that affect the trial I have in 2 weeks? Am I actually going to have it or not? So, I mean, we're just trying to get by best we can.
Yeah. Well, one question I've sort of raised, and I don't know if there is an answer. Probably, I don't have the right data sets to really know, but are you getting a sense that maybe people that are in conflict, that have a lawsuit pending, are maybe more willing to strike a deal right now, that they're willing to work out an agreement because they don't know when they could actually get their day in court on something, or not seeing that? Just curious.
Yeah, I haven't seen that too much so far. I think people have just kind of, set back and let things, you know, get delayed or be put on pause and not in any real rush. I think a lot of it too is they understand that, you know, we can't just jump in there and get a hearing or a trial date right away anymore. And, um, I think they're also kind of, you know, pretty anybody say, oh, let's just get it done right now because, I can see us not having trial until 2021 type situations.
Well, so one thing I wanted to talk about a bit, I mean, from what I've been seeing and hearing from Donna running the service, it does seem like people are still calling in, they're still needing the service, they're still wanting to retain an attorney for issues, even maybe more so because now they're at home, they have their files in order that they were going to, to go ahead. So we're still hearing, we're still feeling that need from people to use the legal system, to want to, have attorneys help them with their situation. So from our end, it sure seems like there's still that demand. It's not going away. People aren't putting off litigation necessarily, or potential lawsuits, or talking with an attorney, which is um, I think maybe even going forward, we'll have more issues, more legal issues coming out of this, novel, new legal issues that are associated with the new normal when people are out and about more, as we, ease the restrictions on gatherings and things like that. Certainly in the world of custody agreements and things like that, some modifications may need to happen in the verbiage to make sure that the custody agreement still is held to, probably.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the family law listservs, are going, crazy with questions about, okay, can I deny, access because of the other party's employment makes them in contact with other people, and I'm sure there's going to be a pandemic provision in many parenting plans moving forward, so that these types of things are covered when yeah, that would have seemed ridiculous, 2 months ago. But yeah, I would agree. And maybe it's people have more time to think about things or stew about things or what have you. That again, at least in my area, people are still calling in, wanting consults, still getting the referrals. Donna sending me, divorce or custody consults. So it hasn't been like a dead stop at all. It's still, people are still moving forward with it.
Yeah. I think there's maybe a trap we can get into of not wanting to talk about ways to get more business, or even having these conversations about diversifying referral sources. They say do a good job and your reputation will precede you, and you'll get good work begets good work and everything like that. But we had a CLE back in December. We brought in a legal marketer from Ohio to talk about online legal marketing and all the things that have changed in that, and how people are deciding on hiring a lawyer in different ways than they used to. It used to be this, you ask a family or a close friend, and that's 75-80% of referrals were done that way. And now there's kind of a fracturing of that into all these online versions, ads on online, or looking people up on directories and things like that, utilizing third-party verification sort of ideas that you want to. It's not necessarily a family or friend person that's telling you this is a good attorney, but you're finding it through a verifiable third source. And I'm hopeful that that'll continue to point in our direction. As a bar association that's run a lawyer referral service for over 50 years, that's a call-in service, that email-in service that has a person there connecting. That seems to be rare and rare these days, Mark. And I'm excited that we still have that and have that kind of white shoe service that's good for the lawyers and for the people that are looking for attorneys. Maybe they don't know what area of practice they were actually needing an attorney for, and they kept on Google searching contract attorney when they needed a divorce attorney. So I don't know. From my end, I feel like now more than ever, it's important to understand where your potential sources of clients are coming from, and diversify and use OBA LRS as one of those resources.
Yeah, I agree. I still think, at least from my experience here, most of our clientele that aren't, court appointments or LRS are usually word of mouth. Somebody, used us and then they told their friend, or we have another professional connection. And I would say we're probably, in terms of technology, are pretty behind the times. I don't think we even had a website up until like 3 or 4 years ago. But I don't know if there other attorney search programs out there where you can actually talk to a person, explain your problem, and then they'll assign you an attorney. I agree. I think that's pretty unique, at least in Nebraska or eastern Nebraska. So I think that's our our number one I guess selling point for LRS is that, hey, we're not just putting your name on a list and somebody comes along and clicks on it because it says criminal law or divorce law next to it. You got someone talking to the person to make sure A, they need an attorney, and B, what do they need an attorney for? So that's interesting. I mean, I think, especially with my wife being an attorney and myself, and a lot of our friends being attorneys, it's always kind of that inner network. Who do you know that does this area of law or whatever? And I usually say, call LRS. That's going to be like, I don't want to have to think about, who do I know exactly who does this and all of that. It's like, especially, it's employment law or something like that, call LRS. You're going to get somebody good that, has experience, and, that's your best bet. Especially if we got calls coming into the office and we don't do that area. Here, the number's right up there at our reception. Give it to them, have them call. We're not going to hear any complaints.
Well, and I'm going back to a continuing legal education seminar that we put on a while back, years ago now, and we talked about that negligent referral issue, and it's putting on my attorney hat for a second here. I believe there was one district court case in another jurisdiction that discussed negligent referral as something that could be a potential issue. Attorneys giving out referral of somebody to take on a case, and if that person wasn't qualified to take that on, and they their representation was subpar and the person was injured for it, the attorney that referred it could be brought in a legal action for potentially negligent referral. So it's not one of those things that's the law of the land, but there's a case out there that shows that it could be an issue. So rather than saying, oh, well, I know Mark Jacobs does employment law better than anybody. Turns out Mark Jacobs is a great lawyer, maybe not the best employment law lawyer that is out there, and I overstated your credentials and everything like that. Rather than put yourself out there as potential violation, just give them referral service, and that's another. You never have to worry about a potential lawsuit coming from that, or I guess your name can be put on any lawsuit. They can always name you in a lawsuit, whether or not it sticks. and you just don't want to be named in a lawsuit and go through that process and talk to your malpractice insurance and all that. So,
Right.
yeah. Well, Mark, I hope this doesn't sound like too much of an infomercial to everybody, but we're big fans of the service, and it's been around for so long, and it's made me money. It's made you money. It's made everybody that's been a part of the service, I think, for a significant period of time. It's made them money, and it's given them connections, and it's also served that public need. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that I didn't ask about that you want to add to the conversation here?
I don't know. I think I just want to, emphasize it's just good business. It's just good business to have, another source of clientele. And again, with the fee being so low, in comparison to the return, I'm always confused about people that didn't want to sign up for it, because I've been on it for, gosh, I don't know, around 8 years or so, and it's worked out very well for me. So I'm it's not like you and I, Dave, are selling this because we got a piece of the action that's coming in. I mean, it's just a really quality program. So
absolutely. Well, and I should really go through and write down a list. It seems like I'm doing more Zoom virtual chats with attorneys that are married to other attorneys. Maybe I'm even going smaller within the circle, because maybe it's my affinity for marrying attorney. So and I swear I gotta get Hannah to do one of these. She's got to be hosting one of these sometime. I'm sure she'll have a different take on it, but as a broadcast journalist in the past, I'm sure she'll do much better than me and put me to shame on these. But
I'm sure.
I'm very, very glad to get you on the line today. Really appreciate it, Mark. You stay safe and take care, and I'll see you at the next Zoom board meeting of Lawyer Referral Service if we don't have a community meeting in person anytime soon.
Exactly. All right. Stay healthy, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks. You too. Bye-bye.